You could be doing everything right with Tretinoin, correct dose, consistent nights, SPF every morning, and still not see the results you were promised. And the reason has nothing to do with your skin type, your patience, or whether you're using the right brand. It has to do with a wall, literally. Your skin has a top layer whose entire biological purpose is to block things from getting in. And Tretinoin, as powerful as it is, loses a significant portion of its effectiveness before it even reaches the layer of skin where it actually does anything. Most people spend months dealing with the irritation and never fully get the reward, not because Tretinoin doesn't work, because nobody told them about the one thing that changes how deep it gets. That one thing costs about $1, and once you understand why it works, you're going to look back at your routine and immediately know what's been missing. If you're new here, this is Raw Glow Edge. We take what dermatologists know and make it practical, affordable, and real. Subscribe and hit the bell right now, because what I'm covering after this video is going to matter just as much to your routine. Let's get into it. Let me paint a picture that a lot of you are probably going to recognize. You start Tretinoin, you're careful about it, you do the research, you use a pea-size amount, you moisturize after. You're doing everything right, at least everything you were told to do, and the first few weeks are rough, but you push through because you know the retinization period is real and you're prepared for it. But then a month passes, then 2, and you're still dealing with more irritation than results. Your skin texture is uneven, you might still be breaking out, and the dramatic before and afters you've been watching on YouTube are starting to feel like they belong to someone else. And here's the part that nobody says out loud. A lot of people quietly conclude that Tretinoin just isn't working for their skin. They lower the dose, reduce frequency, or stop entirely, convinced they're just not someone who responds well to it. What I want you to understand, and this is the core idea of everything in this video, is that the problem almost never has anything to do with how your skin responds to Tretinoin. The problem is how much of it is actually getting through to where it needs to go. And this is exactly where most people's routines break down, not in their dedication, but in their delivery. Let's talk about why this happens, because understanding it is what makes the solution make sense. Your skin has a top layer called the stratum corneum. Think of it as a brick wall. Tightly packed dead skin cells held together by lipids and proteins. Its entire biological purpose is to keep things out. Bacteria, chemicals, UV radiation. The stratum corneum is your body's first line of defense, and it does its job extremely well. Here's the problem. Tretinoin is a relatively large molecule, and the stratum corneum doesn't know or care that you want it to absorb. Its job is to block penetration, and that instinct applies to your Tretinoin the same way it applies to everything else. Dermatology research has consistently shown that topical retinoids, including Tretinoin, have limited natural penetration when applied without an enhancement strategy. A meaningful portion of what you apply sits on or near the surface, causing the dryness, flaking, and sensitivity you experience there, without fully reaching the dermis below. The dermis is where collagen is produced. It's where sebaceous glands are regulated. It's where the actual anti-aging and acne-clearing work gets done. You're essentially applying a powerful tool and losing a significant part of its effect before it even reaches its target. Now, pharmaceutical companies have tried to solve this with advanced Tretinoin formulations. Microsphere encapsulated Tretinoin, for example, is designed to improve delivery. But those formulations are expensive, not always accessible, and still don't maximize absorption the way a simple technique can. What can dramatically improve how deeply Tretinoin penetrates without changing your prescription, without buying an expensive new product, and without increasing your dose, is creating controlled microchannels in the stratum corneum before you apply it. And this is where most tutorials stop, which is exactly why most tutorials give incomplete results. Because those microchannels, you can create them with a Derma roller that costs less than $1. Now here's the part that actually makes this whole system work. a 0.25 millimeter Derma roller. That's the $1 secret. You can find these online for under $1, sometimes 2 or 3 in a pack for around $2 total. Amazon, AliExpress, Walmart online. I'll link a specific option in the description so you're not guessing. Before I go further, I want to address something right now, because I know some of you already own a Derma roller. Maybe you bought one a year ago, used it a few times, saw nothing, and put it in a drawer. That's incredibly common. And the reason it didn't work is almost certainly not that microneedling doesn't work for your skin. It's that Derma rolling alone, without pairing it with the right active ingredient applied in the right sequence immediately after. Doesn't do much on its own for most people. Rolling by itself just creates temporary channels. What you put through those channels is the entire point. The roller is the vehicle. Tretinoin is what's doing the driving. If you have a roller sitting somewhere right now, go find it after this video. Check the needle length. You want 0.25 millimeters. Sanitize it, and you may not even need to spend that $1. Now, here's why this combination is specifically powerful. We are not talking about the 1 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter rollers used for deep collagen induction therapy. Those go deeper, require more preparation, more downtime, and yes, more caution. The 0.25 millimeter roller is a surface-level tool. Its needles are so fine they don't visibly break the skin. What they do is create temporary microscopic disruptions in the stratum corneum, tiny pathways that close within 30 to 60 minutes that allow tretinoin to bypass the brick wall and absorb into the living skin layers underneath. A controlled microneedling study published in the Journal of Drugs in Dermatology found that shallow needling at depths comparable to a 0.25 millimeter roller increased topical drug delivery into the dermis by roughly 400% compared to standard application alone. That's one conservative finding from one peer-reviewed source, not a marketing range. Now, I'm not going to tell you your skin will respond exactly like a lab tissue model. You're a person, not a tissue sample. But even if your skin captures half of that improvement, even if you double or triple your effective absorption rather than quadruple it, that is a meaningful, real shift in how well your tretinoin is working, all from something that costs less than your morning coffee. Here's something counterintuitive. And I want you to sit with this for a second because it surprised me when I first understood it. Some of you are thinking, if I'm getting more tretinoin into my skin, won't the irritation get worse? It's a fair instinct. But here's what's actually happening. A significant portion of tretinoin's surface irritation, the flaking, the redness, the raw feeling, comes from it lingering on the top layers of skin without fully moving through. It's causing inflammation at the surface while underperforming below. When absorption is enhanced through microneedling, tretinoin moves through those surface layers more efficiently. Less product sitting on top doing damage, more product reaching its target doing work. And when you pair this with a technique called buffering, applying a thin layer of moisturizer before or mixed lightly with your tretinoin, you further reduce the immediate surface impact without closing those microchannels. They stay open for up to 60 minutes, so you have time. Better results, less surface irritation, more targeted delivery. That's the system. And now let me walk you through exactly how to do it. This is the full raw glow edge $1 tretinoin boost protocol. The sequence matters here, so follow this carefully. Step 1. Cleanse and wait. Use a gentle, fragrance-free cleanser, nothing with acids, exfoliating beads, or actives. CeraVe. Hydrating cleanser is a solid choice that won't strip your barrier before you even start. Rinse with lukewarm water, pat dry gently, and then wait. Your skin needs to be completely dry before you roll. Not just towel dry, but fully settled. Wet or damp skin is significantly more permeable, and rolling on damp skin dramatically increases your risk of irritation and overabsorption. Wait 20 to 30 minutes. Use that time to do something else. This step sounds small, but it's one of the most important timing rules in this entire protocol. Step 2. Prep your roller. Before it touches your face, soak the roller head in 70% isopropyl alcohol for 30 seconds, then let it air dry for a minute. A small travel bottle of isopropyl costs about $1 too, worth every cent. A contaminated roller introduces bacteria directly into those microchannels, and that's how you create infections, not glow. Clean it before and after every single use without exception. Step 3. Roll. Use light pressure, enough to feel a slight sensation, not pain. Roll in one direction, only across each zone: forehead, left cheek, right cheek, chin. About 5 to 10 passes per zone. Lift, reposition, and roll again. Don't drag the roller back and forth like a paint roller. Your skin may look mildly pink immediately after. That is completely normal and expected. If it looks red, feels hot, or is burning, you're pressing too hard. Back off the pressure. Step 4. Buffer layer. Within 2 to 3 minutes of rolling, while those microchannels are still open, apply your buffer. Plain, fragrance-free petroleum jelly. Vaseline works perfectly, applied as a thin layer across your face. Not a thick mask, just enough to create a slight surface barrier that softens the immediate impact of tretinoin without blocking the channels. Think of it as a speed bump, not a wall. Step 5. Apply tretinoin. 1 pea-size amount for your entire face. Dot it across your forehead, both cheeks, nose, and chin, then press and pat gently. Don't rub aggressively. Let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes before the next step. Step 6. Seal overnight. Apply your main moisturizer over the top. A ceramide-based formula works well here. Ceramides help rebuild the skin barrier that rolling and tretinoin have temporarily disrupted. Let your skin do its work overnight. Step 7. Morning routine. Gentle cleanse, a hydrating or antioxidant serum if you use one, and a broad-spectrum SPF 30 or higher. This step is not optional, and I'll explain exactly why in the mistakes section. But understand right now, tretinoin increases your photosensitivity, and so does microneedling. Skipping sunscreen the morning after this protocol actively undoes the collagen work you just invested in. Quick pause here. If you're finding this level of detail useful, this is exactly what Raw Glow Edge does every week. Real science, practical application, no filler. Subscribe and turn the bell on because my next video covers whether you can actually layer tretinoin with vitamin C. And the answer is more nuanced than anything you've probably heard. You don't want to miss it. Now let's talk about how to make this work specifically for your skin. Now here's where this gets personal. Because the same protocol doesn't land the same way on every skin type. One of the biggest flaws in most skincare content is handing you a formula and pretending it applies universally. It doesn't. So let's break this down. If you're oily or acne prone, skip petroleum jelly as your buffer. It's technically non-comedogenic, but it feels counterintuitive on oily skin, and some people find it sits too heavily. Instead, use a thin layer of niacinamide serum as your buffer. Niacinamide works well alongside tretinoin, helps regulate sebum production, and reduces inflammatory breakouts without adding weight. For your rolling frequency, start at once every 7 days and stay there for at least the first 2 months. Acne-prone skin needs full recovery time between sessions. Rolling more frequently will not speed up your results. It will cause problems. If you're dry or focused on anti-aging, this is where the combination of rolling and tretinoin produces its most dramatic results, because both individually stimulate collagen, and together that effect compounds. Use a richer buffer, a hyaluronic acid serum applied first, followed by a thin layer of petroleum jelly, creates a hydration sandwich that supports barrier function while the tretinoin works below. Once your skin has adapted over 6 to 8 weeks, you can experiment with rolling every 5 days rather than 7. But don't rush the adaptation period. Your skin will tell you when it's ready by how it responds the morning after. If you're sensitive, go slower than you think you need to. Start with rolling just once every 10 days. If your skin is in an already reactive state, active rosacea flare, eczema breakout, raw or broken skin, anywhere on your face, Do not roll at all that week. Full stop. Use the sandwich method for Tretinoin application. Apply moisturizer first, let it sit for 10 minutes, then apply Tretinoin over the top. This is a well-established method for reducing surface contact irritation. Only add the rolling technique after your skin has been stable for at least 4 weeks on Tretinoin alone. Build the foundation before you add complexity. If you have combination skin, treat your zones differently within the same session. Apply your buffer more generously on your outer cheeks, around your mouth, and on the sides of your nose. The areas that tend to run dry and reactive, roll with slightly lighter pressure in those zones compared to your forehead and T-zone, where skin tends to be more resilient. You don't have to use a different product for each zone. Just adjust your hand pressure and buffer thickness. Drop your skin type in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what most of you are working with, and your questions shape what I cover next in Derm office hours. Before I get to the results timeline, I want to pause here for a second, because this next part is important. These aren't just general cautions. These are the specific things that will quietly undermine your results if you let them, and a few of them can cause real setbacks. Mistake 1. Rolling too frequently. More rolling is not better. The microchannels need to fully close and your skin barrier needs time to regenerate between sessions. Rolling every day or every other night is how you compromise your barrier, create chronic low-grade inflammation, and counterintuitively make Tretinoin more irritating, not less. Once a week is your starting point. Work up to twice weekly only if your skin shows genuine tolerance after 2 months of consistent once-weekly sessions. Mistake 2. Rolling on damp or recently washed skin. This one gets described as just causing extra sensitivity, and that undersells it. Damp skin combined with microneedling combined with Tretinoin can push that retinoid deep into skin that hasn't had time to stabilize. Some people have triggered irritation significant enough to set their skin back weeks from this single mistake. The 20 to 30-minute wait after cleansing is not a suggestion. It's the most important timing rule in this protocol. Mistake 3. Rolling over active breakouts or damaged skin. This isn't overcaution. Rolling over an active, inflamed lesion physically moves bacteria across your face and deposits it directly into fresh microchannels. The result can be a breakout that's meaningfully worse than what you started with. Spreading rather than healing. Roll around active spots, never over them. Mistake 4. Using a damaged or dirty roller. Inspect the roller head before every use. Bent needles, missing needles, discoloration on the head. Any of these means you throw it out and use a new one. A damaged roller creates uneven, jagged trauma instead of clean microchannels. And skipping the alcohol sanitization even once is a risk you genuinely don't need to take when you're opening the skin before applying an active. Mistake 5. Skipping morning SPF. I want to be direct here. Tretinoin increases photosensitivity on its own. Microneedling adds to that. Together, the morning after this protocol, your skin is more vulnerable to UV damage than it normally would be. Skipping sunscreen isn't just a skincare sin in the abstract. It's actively working against the collagen investment you just made the night before. SPF 30 minimum, every morning, no exceptions. Let's talk about what to actually expect. And I want to be honest with you here rather than optimistic. Weeks 1 and 2 will likely feel like an adjustment. You may notice slightly more sensitivity than you had with Tretinoin alone as your skin gets used to the combined stimulus. Some people experience a bit more peeling early on. This is your skin adapting to enhanced delivery, not a sign that something is wrong. Keep buffering, keep moisturizing, and give it time. By month 1, most people start seeing visible improvement in skin texture, smoother surface, more even tone, smaller looking pores. If you're using this for acne, you'll typically notice a meaningful reduction in new breakouts forming as the Tretinoin reaches the sebaceous glands more effectively. By month 3 is where the results become more photographable and more obvious to you personally. Hyperpigmentation begins fading more noticeably. Fine lines soften. the skin starts to look structurally healthier rather than just temporarily hydrated or glowy. By month 6, if you've been genuinely consistent, not perfect but consistent, most people can take a before and after photo in the same lighting and see a real difference. Not a filtered influencer transformation, a real structural change in how their skin looks and feels. I want to be clear about something here, though, because I think honesty matters more than motivation in skincare. Results vary. Genetics plays a real role. Someone dealing with deep hormonal cystic acne will have a different experience than someone using this primarily for early fine lines. Some people will see significant change by month 3. Others will be at month 6 and feel like the progress has been gradual but real. A few will take longer. This doesn't work around your skin. It works with it, over time, consistently. What stays constant is the science. Tretinoin rebuilds collagen and clears congestion over time. Microneedling meaningfully enhances its delivery, and your consistency is what converts both of those facts into your actual face. It doesn't eliminate every imperfection. You'll still deal with occasional breakouts, especially around hormonal shifts. That's just skin. But the baseline you're working from will be progressively better, and that's what this system is actually designed to deliver. Let me bring this together before you go. Tretinoin is one of the most studied and most effective ingredients in all of skincare. But if you're applying it without addressing the absorption barrier, without getting it through the stratum corneum to where it actually does its job, you are consistently leaving results on the table. Not because you're doing something dramatically wrong, just because nobody told you about this one missing piece. A 0.25 millimeter Derma roller used correctly and consistently creates the microchannels that allow Tretinoin to penetrate meaningfully deeper than it would on its own. Combined with proper buffering, the right application sequence, and a solid moisturizer, this single addition to your routine can shift how your skin responds to the same prescription you've already been using. That's the $1 secret. No gimmick. Just transdermal science made practical and accessible. If this video helped you, hit the like button. It genuinely helps Raw Glow Edge reach more people who need this kind of information. Subscribe and turn the bell on. My next Derm Office Hours episode is covering Tretinoin and vitamin C together, whether it's actually safe, whether it makes sense, and how to do it if you're going to. It's going to break a few myths you've probably heard. If you're going to try this protocol, even just the buffering change without the roller to start, leave a comment and tell me where you're starting from. How long have you been on Tretinoin? What's been your biggest struggle with it? I read these, and those conversations are what shape the next video. Take care of your skin. Be patient with it. I'll see you in the next one.